Now, you say, why are we talking about this in terms of biblical prophecy? Because not only does the world and military leaders think that that's an important spot, going into the Middle East and then going into Europe and natural resources and funding terrorism and all of that, it's amazing to me that the Bible says in Ezekiel 38, it talks about this country 4 times as being one of the key nations that's part of the Ezekiel 38 coalition of nations that comes against Israel. I want you to take our folks through this important prophetic passage and show where Turkey's at.
Ezekiel 38 is a passage. There are other passages, Psalm 83, Daniel 11, verses 40 to 45. But Ezekiel 38 is the main passage on the Gog-Magog battle that's going to take place in these first 6 months of the tribulation period, which is key because all the players have to be ready to do that. When you look at Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 2, you see the first nation that's mentioned, Magog. We've already talked about that on a previous program, which is modern-day Russia. Gog is the leader, and should all of this be fulfilled today, Gog would be Vladimir Putin. He's ready in Russia to accomplish what needs to be done. But his partners are going to include it in chapter 38, verse 2. It mentions Meshech and Tubal. And then in verse 6, it mentions Gomer and Togarmah. These are the 4 sections of what is modern-day Turkey. And some 4,500 years ago, when nations were established, that's where those 4 sons of Japheth, the grandsons of Noah, the brothers of Magog, went to live. Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, and Togarmah. When their brother Magog went north of the Caspian and Black Sea, they went south of the Caspian and Black Sea. They established the nation of Turkey. And then when you come to chapter 5, Persia, modern-day Iran, Ethiopia, modern-day Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, Put or Libya. And so this is the major part of the coalition that will form in the last days to try to go into Jerusalem and wipe out the Jewish state.